Jackie with Intoxicating Arts, and today we're going to make a gummy bear card using this Avery Elle stamp set called Beary Sweet Wishes. And I'm starting off with a 3 3/4 by 4 inch piece of watercolor cardstock, inking up the bear that is facing forward with Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I'm going to alternate the angles that he is sitting on the front of the card. And I'm going to end up stamping a total of 5 of these, just in random angles and in random spots. The main reason that I'm doing that is because I have a demo set and I just have the front facing one. There's actually ones that face left and right in the full stamp set if you end up getting that one. So anytime I use Memento Tuxedo black ink, I like to completely dry it with my heat tool before I move on to coloring to make sure I won't have any bleeding going on. Now that that's dry, I can move on to my coloring, and for this video I'm going to be using the Zig Real Brush markers. They are actually the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and they are watercolor markers, so I'm using it on 140-pound watercolor cardstock, and I'll be doing these in a rainbow pattern. So since I only have 5 of them, it's going to be red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And I have this taped down to my work surface using some 3M painter's tape, and I didn't go along every side, mostly just because I never really tape it down, but in this case there are some that are hanging over the edges, so I wouldn't have been able to anyways. You can always just use a nice strong adhesive in the end to make sure it's down really well. So whenever I color with these, I like to just go along the edges of the image, and then I can go back in with my water brush and spread the color out. It's a really free, fun, easy way to color an image and get a nice uniform result in the end. And you can even go in and kind of do some shading if you want to. I'm kind of a novice at this, and I'm pretty happy with the results that I get from just simply using a water brush and spreading the color around. When you do this, you do want to make sure to have a somewhat decent watercolor cardstock, because if you try to do it on regular cardstock, you're going to absolutely hate the results and think that these markers are horrible. So just keep that in mind. Get a nice, somewhat decent watercolor cardstock. This one isn't very expensive. It's the Artist Loft brand from Michaels. So now that I have all my little bears colored in here, I can ink up my sentiment, which says Beary Sweet Wishes, and for that I decided to go with a red pigment ink just because I feel like it, sets on the top of the paper and it's nice and crisp. So since I did the red there, I will end up doing red for my card base to tie that color in, since my red bear also kind of looks pink. Since they look like they're floating a little bit, I decided to go in and give them some shadows using the light gray marker. And this is really easy to do, just scribble in underneath them and then blend it out a little bit using your water brush. And it just looks like they're not floating anymore. For my background paper, I went to what has recently been my go-to stash, and that would be any of the Lawn Fawn papers. This one happens to be from the Let's Polka in the Dark set, and I'm just figuring out here how much of a border I want, because this is definitely not a standard card size. And I decided that I wanted to have a 1/2 inch border all the way around, so I'm measuring that out, and then I will decide how to cut it to make sure that my hearts are going to be in the right orientation, because that's one thing I mess up on a lot, is having something sideways when it's supposed to be up and down. So that measurement ended up being 4 3/4 by 10, because I decided to turn that into my card base, and I will be scoring and folding it at the 5 inch mark. So the card itself is 4 3/4 by 5. This is a Martha Stewart scoreboard. If you haven't seen one before, they're great. I use it quite a bit. You can make envelopes with it as well. So just finishing that up here by using my A2G gun and popping that onto my card base. I'll probably put a piece of white paper on the inside so I can write a sentiment in there as well. On the other side of that paper, it's actually some lines. So that's the entire card. It's done. Thank you so much for watching. I'll put links below to the supplies if you're interested, and stick around because I'll be putting up another video using the Avery Elle Dreamboat stamp set. Have a great day. Bye!